Hi, I'm Josh Gitalis, and a question I get asked quite often is why do I need to take supplements? Shouldn't I be able to get all the nutrition I need from food? And there's a few answers I give to this question. First, food isn't like it used to be. First, you need a seed to grow a plant, and it's very hard to come by good seeds these days. A lot of the seeds out there are genetically modified organisms or seeds that have been modified. Say you have a good seed, then you need to find a good piece of soil. And once you find a good piece of soil, you can plant that seed. But if you want to switch a conventional farm to an organic farm, you can't even touch the land for about 5 years to let it get its life back, to let the bird life come back, to let the fungus come back, and for it to be land good enough to grow a good piece of food. Then you have to harvest it at the right time. An example I give is, what's the difference between a red pepper and a green pepper? And there actually is no difference other than the fact that they're harvested at different times. Orange, yellow, and green and red peppers are all different vegetables, but a green and a red pepper is the same vegetable. A green pepper is just picked a lot earlier, and thus has a lot less nutrition, and we can taste that. A red pepper tastes so sweet, but a green pepper doesn't quite have that delicious flavor. Finally, food ends up in the grocery store, and then we don't know how long it sits there, and then once we get it to our home, we process it in different ways. And the more ways we process a food, the more nutrition we lose. For example, as soon as you slice a food open, the vitamin C starts to degrade quickly. Folic acid is another nutrient that degrades very easily with processing and heat. So as you can see, we lose a lot of nutrition, more than we used to have back in the day when we used to take foods from our own garden. The second factor involved is digestion. And it's not just what we eat, but it's what we eat, digest, absorb, and assimilate and turn into ourselves. You truly are what you eat. A lot of people have digestive issues these days. It's one of the most common things I see in my office. If you go to any drugstore, you can see aisles full of antacids and laxatives, things that are helping people digest properly but are really causing more problem than good. So we could be eating the best food out there, but if we're not digesting it properly, it's probably going right through us and we're not getting the most out of it. And finally, our foods are laden with different chemicals unless we're buying organic. Pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, hormones, antibiotics all end up in our food. And when these end up in our food, we have to detoxify them in our body so they don't become harmful. And in order to detoxify these, we need to fuel our enzymes. And our enzymes need nutrients. So the more chemicals we consume or are exposed to, the more nutrients we need. So those are 3 very solid reasons why we might need supplements. A couple examples are, if you live in a place where you don't get enough sun, you don't get enough vitamin D. You're going to need to supplement that, and it's great that we have that available. Back in the day in the 1700s, when sailors were traveling around the world exploring new lands, they kept on getting this disease that was actually killing people. Their wounds wouldn't heal, their gums would bleed, their teeth would fall out, and eventually they'd die from bleeding out. And they later discovered this was scurvy, and they gave sailors limes, which is why they're sometimes called limeys. Now imagine one of these sailors came to a doctor and said, oh, you know, my teeth are falling out, my gums are bleeding, can you help me? And they gave them some limes. The limes would be very helpful, but of course if they had a supplement like vitamin C, they would heal a lot quicker because they get a concentrated form of the nutrient. And that's just one example. So supplements can be extremely useful if used for the right person in the right dosage in the right amount. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you again soon.